Hey guys, hope you guys are enjoying your week this week. Today I got a core holding ETF review that we're going to do, and it's going to be the first ever Vanguard fund I think I've ever done, which seems kind of weird because Vanguard is known as the king of ETFs pretty much. And I like to think of Vanguard as the mousetrap, right? We always try to complicate things, and we end up trying to build a better mousetrap, but the traditional old school mousetrap simple design is probably best for most people, right? So we're going to jump into it and just take a look at it, do a quick overview of it, and see what makes it tick. And if you're new here, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, comment down below that you're new here. Let me know you're here. I would appreciate it. This channel goes over a lot of ETF reviews, income reviews, my own personal dividend income reviews. I need to slow down. Some people say I talk too slow, but then when I try to speed up, that kind of thing happens. But down in the description, I'll put a playlist. I'll probably link a card up here too as well to different things that we do here. Also, I want to thank everybody that's been using my Amazon link. That has been very successful, and I don't want to reveal too much of my personal, but it's actually really helped, and I appreciate it very much. So if you shop at Amazon and you want to give me a tip, there's a link down below in the description that if you just go through that link and buy anything you want on Amazon, I will get a small commission on qualified purchases. It doesn't have to be the thing that I'm linked to. I need to change that. But anything you use after you click that, and anything you buy after you click that link, I get a small commission. So if you do that, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So what are we looking at today? We are looking at the Vanguard VYM, which is the Vanguard High Dividend Yield Index Fund. Now, this is an interesting one. Excuse me. I always record these after I eat, and then I have to burp. Sorry. It's just me. The investment seeks to track the performance of should I stop and restart this? Probably not. I'm gonna be me. This investment seeks to track the performance of a benchmark index that measures the investment return of common stocks of companies that are characterized by high dividend yield. The fund employs an indexing investment approach designed to track the performance of the FTSE High Dividend Yield Index, which consists of common stocks or of companies that pay dividends that generally are higher than average. The advisor's attempts to replicate the target index by investing all or substantially all of its assets in the stocks that make up the index, holding each stock in approximately the same proportion as its weighting in the index. Now, when I said that this was a little bit weird, because this FTSE High Dividend Yield Index doesn't really exist. It's kind of an illusion, because this index, I believe, is created by Vanguard off of the FTSE All World High Dividend Yield Index. So the FTSE All World High Dividend Index comprises stocks that are based on the All World Index. So what Vanguard does is they take that index and they pull out mainly U.S. companies. So VYM is majority U.S. based. So instead of using that whole index, they kind of just pulled a piece of that index and used that. So real estate trusts or REITs are removed from the index, as are stocks that are forecast to pay a zero dividend over the next 12 months. The remaining stocks are ranked. This one's important right here. The remaining stocks are ranked by annual dividend yield and included in the target index until the cumulative market cap reaches 50% of the total market cap of this universe of stocks. So this is a high dividend yield fund. And that's how let me move back. So Vanguard, what Vanguard does, or what this index does, is it pulls all of the high dividend yield stocks and then it ranks them by market cap instead of yield. So essentially what ends up happening is that you'll have the biggest companies at the top, and they go down in market cap after that. So it's not necessarily the highest yield is going to be on top. But what this ends up doing is kind of good. It gives you a chance at a little bit higher yield than a normal like S&P 500 index, but it also keeps quality. It keeps quality up there. So it ends up being the biggest companies, in the USA. Doesn't necessarily have to be the highest yield, but it's the biggest companies. So it's almost like a safe high yield approach, right? Because your biggest companies usually are more the safer company, and they may not have the highest yield, even though some of them do. We'll go through the holdings, but they're probably going to be safer than some of the smaller cap companies that have a very high yield. So it's kind of twisted in the way it weights it, right? So it's all high dividend yield weighted by market cap. So we'll go back over here to Fidelity, and we'll look at the portfolio composition real quick. And it has a total basket of 424 holdings, and the top 10 holds 25%, and the other is 75%. And like I said, it's mostly North America, 97.32%, 2.5% out of Europe. And we'll look at the top 10 holdings here. Johnson & Johnson at 3.84%, Procter & Gamble 3.24%, JP Morgan at 3%, Verizon 2.4%, AT&T 2.1%, Pfizer at 2%, Merck at 2%, Intel at 2%, Bank of America at 2%, Comcast at basically 2%. And you'll see they weight it by market cap. So Johnson & Johnson's market cap is $390 billion. Procter & Gamble's is $335. JP Morgan $312. Verizon $243. AT&T $213. So even though AT&T has probably the highest yield out of all these, it's not going to rank higher than J&J because J&J is the bigger company. So if we look at market cap, 86% in large cap, 9% in mid cap, 5% in small and micro cap. And the sector exposures are financials at 19%, healthcare at 15.5%, consumer staples at 15%, information technology at 11%, utilities at 9%, industrials at 9%, communication services at 7%, energy at 6.25%, roughly 6.33%, materials at almost 4.5%, consumer discretionary at 3.5%, and it has just a very small bit of real estate, and that'll probably get kicked out. I don't know how because they exclude REITs, so I don't know if what companies are real estate in here that is not a REIT, so I don't understand. I looked at them, but they were like management companies of REITs, so it's kind of maybe a gray area there. So that's VYM. Let's look over here to the key stats. And the key stats, we'll look at the turnover ratio of 7%, which is pretty good. Inception date of 2006, so this fund has been around quite a while. And let's go over here and we'll look at dividends. Look at the expense ratio real quick. That's a nice one about Vanguard usually. Expense ratio of 0.06%, which is really nice. So it's cheap to own, safe dividend yield, nice holdings. I would say defensive holdings for the most part. You get a 3.52% dividend yield out of this. Let's look at the dividend growth, which is important. 10-year compound annual growth rate in the dividend of 9.3%. So not too bad. Not too bad, because I would consider this more a value fund. Let's look. I didn't go over that. Let's look over here back to VYM, and what did Morningstar? Yep, Morningstar Style Map Large Cap Value. So this is a great holding, I think. You're talking 3.5% yield, good core holding, great compounded annual growth rate on the dividend. You know, what's not to like here? Cheap expense ratio at only 0.06. And let's look at how it's performed for the last 10 years. Of course, on my favorite ETFchannel.com, we'll go. I'm recording this on August 16th, so we'll just do August 16th, 2010 to August 16th, 2020. And we'll go ahead and compare it to the S&P 500, even though I don't like doing that. And here we go. VYM. You're looking at total return of 207.26% versus the SPY, or the S&P 500, at 280.73%. That's an average total return of annual total return of 11.88% versus the SPY at 14.3%. Not bad for a dividend focused fund. All you guys out there that are looking for a dividend fund that beats the S&P 500, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So sorry, maybe it will one day. Maybe it will one day, because past performance doesn't guarantee future results, right? So maybe we'll see value stocks go past the market one of these days. So there you have it. VYM, Vanguard's High Dividend Yield Index Fund. Is it something you own? You see this very easily as a core holding that you can just put away, turn an auto invest on, and just pump money into this thing for the next 20-30 years. It's got a good, for high dividend yield, I wouldn't call it high dividend yield because it's only 3.5%, but it's an okay dividend yield. It's a good growth rate. I like the way they screen for it because it's market cap weighted, not dividend weighted. If you flip that and just make it dividend weighted, you'll probably not have as quality of companies in the top 10 for sure. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Use that Amazon link if you so please. I would appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. I am not a financial advisor. The information contained in this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be investment advice. Please seek a licensed professional for any investment, tax, or legal advice. Thank you.